welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
And remember, our goal is always to guide you to personal and financial wellness.
Well, we're going to start off this segment by thanking you for being part of the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show for almost 7 years now, right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS, with Don Gentley and Gino Fronti, with our goal of guiding you to personal financial wellness. And we do that by sharing just great information, updated information, real information, no fake news. And then we bring in great guests. Like we have Mike Razak with Skyline Home Loans, one of our total experts, one of the top gurus in LA County.
Thank you.
Right there in Sherman Oaks. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Absolutely.
Love working with you.
Thank you.
You know, always got stuff going on. Your energy, and your people love you. Good job, man. I love getting your surveys on a regular basis.
Yeah, thank you.
And then you always work with great partners.
Yep.
So this is a win-win because it's hard to find. Just so you know, we appreciate you, Gordon.
Thank you.
Because trying to find good partners that are real professionals, not just fly-by-nights or what have you done for me lately, Mike?
That's right.
It's how do we work together to really provide a service for our clients, help them get the right lending products, know what their options are. And then I want to dive in, Gordon. And Gordon wrote the book, by the way, and you get a copy of the book. Gordon Myers. He wrote the book, Doing Real Estate. And basically, it's a real estate conversation. What matters most? And that's what I want to dive into.
Sure.
Because one of the things, Gino and I have been in this industry for a long time, is we've learned, Mike, don't you agree? It's asking the right questions and not shortcutting it. Because we were talking about the example of if you had an entertainer and they said, hey, I need a studio. And you went around, looked around, go, there's no studios available. Well, there's SOL. They don't get a home? Well, I know you'd ask the questions, well, what if I found you one that's $300,000 cheaper than that one because you're only looking in that area that has studios? Could you build your own for $300,000?
Sure, absolutely.
So I think it's asking the right questions. So, and you kind of clarified how you handle that, the body language and listening and going deeper.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you're not asking the right questions, you're going to be running around, wasting your time, looking for things that don't exist. And we also know from experience that buyers want something until they learn more about it. You know, research is that thing that you do when you find out things you don't want to know. So yeah, when the buyer says, oh, this is what I want, if you don't really understand why they think they want that, you can't help them as effectively because often they're misguided or misled, or they know so little that they believe that's what they want, not knowing all the other about all the other options out there. So I often probe and ask questions, and I give people permission to change their mind. I tell them, look, I have no problem. Yeah, I say, look, you can change your mind all day long because you're going to find out things that are going to change your perspective. And then I tell them, you're free to change your mind. Just let me know you changed your mind.
That's imperative because we have that where they're like, I'll never live in that neighborhood. I'll never live in that neighborhood. And they find out they can't live in the neighborhood they want to live in because it's too expensive. All of a sudden they're looking for the home. And they're almost too embarrassed to tell you that they're looking in that neighborhood. Yeah. But I love that you say, just tell me. I'm here. I'm your confidant. I'm here. I'm your resource.
Absolutely. We're all human. We all change our mind based on what we know, what we've recently found out. And that's fine.
Well, you know, that's the other thing, too, is that buying a home is, even if it's not your first home, it's still one of the most important things you're going to do. Definitely one of the largest investments you're going to make.
Absolutely.
So you're definitely right. It's a process, you know, and you may change your mind through that process, maybe 2 times, 3 times, or maybe your significant other changes your mind for you.
Absolutely. Or maybe I'll change your mind for you. I've even said to people, no, you don't really want that. And they'll look at me like, what are you talking about? And then I'll tell them there are better options out there for your unique situation, for your position, for what you're trying to achieve. Have you considered this or considered that? And often it's a big aha moment for people because we don't know what we don't know until somebody comes along and tells you. For me, the important thing is for you to get what you want, not for me to give you what's out there because I need to make a deal.
Oh, that's a great statement. That's a really good statement. Again, if you just tuned in, that was a great statement. Gordon Myers, and he's with Pacific Union International. I'm going to read that because I don't.
Yeah. We just changed over. So we have lots more resources, much bigger footprint. We're actually the #1 independent real estate company in all of California.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, my resources just went up tremendously.
Isn't that nice when you get more resources? We're gaining some new resources with Skyline Home Loans as well, and we're excited, like you.
Absolutely.
You're like, hey, we're a bigger player now. That means you have more resources for your clients, and that's
I
a great
can do
thing.
more research you don't want to hear about.
I'm the research guy. I'm the one that likes research. I spend hours and hours wasting time. Seems like wasting time, but then when I make a decision, I'm sure about it.
Right.
And I know that I don't have buyer's remorse because I know all what led up to it. You know, you talked about, you touched on one of the points real quick there is that, it may not be right for you. You may think you want to buy a home, and you're right. A great real estate agent will talk you out of it if that's not the right thing for you. You've been doing this for a long time. That's where experience comes in, is you've seen
confidence.
Yeah, well, it comes from experiences. You've seen so many things, and people come in thinking they know what they want to know, but sometimes they don't.
Yeah, or they'll buy a house knowing they're right on the edge of what they can afford, and no one tells them, did you think about the property taxes every year? And then all of a sudden, they can't buy the house anymore.
Or a repair,
exactly.
Right? Or something along those lines.
So you need to be honest with people. I think you may miss out on a deal here and there, but the referrals are incredible. There's nothing more satisfying than getting a phone call from somebody that said, this person said I should give you a call. You took good care of them, et cetera, et cetera. And if you work that way, you'll be in the business forever rather than just trying to squeeze somebody to close the next deal.
I like that. Is that why you teamed up with Mike?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've mentioned this before. Mike's the real thing. I have no problem sending anyone to him knowing that he's not going to mess it up for me because he works the same way.
Yeah.
People will walk away thinking, these guys actually care. They're not just trying to close me, to make a buck or two. So I think that's important. Real estate's a people's business. You've heard that before, which brings me to a point that people tend to ignore very important information. And that's my job, is to let them understand the significance of buying a house when you're young, of compound interest, of things like that, because everybody thinks they have time, and I'm telling you, it goes by so fast.
Well,
if you didn't do something a long time ago, you're going to kick yourself.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I took the risk. I took the jump when I was 22 years old. Best thing I ever did. Right? I tell people in their 20s, buy a house now, before you're married, before you have kids, before you have any of that. Get your first home. Jump in fast. I know we talked a little bit in the break about a particular product that you guys are using successfully. Tell us a little bit more about why Lock and Shop could possibly be a good strategy right now in this market.
Well, I'm trying to differentiate myself from others. I want to bring value to the table, and the value I bring to the table is Mr. Lock and Shop.
Thank you.
Right. So Mike
Miss that on your business
Mr.
card.
Lock and Shop.
Yeah.
Your big called works.
Right. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, but
I'll
it's
take that.
important.
Right. But yeah, it is a differentiating factor, but more importantly, it's a value. It's a value that a buyer can bring in for their peace of mind. So they're going to go out shopping. They're going to go out and look at homes. Rates could be on the rise. There's more fear and anxiety already about the process. Now you're going to add to it, my payment could go up $150 a month. Okay, it may not be such a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but it adds. It's another layer. So what's nice about Skyline and the system they came up with for Lock and Shop is once your loan is credit approved, which is another added value, which we can talk about in a different segment, you can then lock your rate and take that rate with you for the next 60 days. And when you find that property, you already know what your payment's going to be. There is no guessing game. There is no, this.
Because that's a good point, because the key is you're like, I'm comfortable with this home, with this down payment, and this payment.
Correct.
And if that changes, that changes the whole ballgame.
Most importantly, you can compete with the all-cash buyer.
Right.
Because a lot of people waiting to get finance information or approvals are just being shut out by a guy that walks in with all cash. So puts you back in the game.
Yeah,
well, not
because
only
he's already
that, but
approved.
The only fear with that is, so what happens if rates go down? Right? That's always the fear. And we do have a float down capability with that product. So it's really the best of both worlds.
That's right. I think the mortgage industry is the only industry that gives buyers an option, the rate option for the lower rate. And no one talks about it or thinks about it, but that's real money. It's real money that a company loses to bring a benefit to consumers so that they don't have remorse.
Yeah.
I think we're one of the few industries that does that.
Well, before we unfortunately have to close out. We can do this all day with you guys, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Mike, how can they get a hold of you? Mike Razak with Skyline Home Loans. What's
Yep.
the best way to get a hold of
You can
you?
always give me a call direct to my cell phone, 818-288-6851, or just my first initial name, mrazak, at skylinehomeloans.com.
All right, Mr. Gordon Myers, the man who wrote the book. How do they get your book, and how do they get a hold of you?
Call me, 818-590-8122. I'll always pick up if I can and get a free copy of my book. You can also call and ask for any resources that we have. We're happy to help you. We're happy to educate you. We're happy to build a long-term relationship with you. So just give us a call, ask every question you can imagine, and then we'll give you a few more. So.
Well, we enjoyed our time with you. We love how you communicate.
Thank you, thank you.
I think it's definitely a great strength. I love that you guys work so well together to benefit your clients and really help them obtain their true goals, what's really important to them, not what somebody tells them they think is important to them,
Right.
but doing a great job being a great resource. So thank you for that.
Thank you, guys.
All right. And again, Gordon Myers with Pacific Union International right on Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks. Mike Razak, Skyline Home Loans right there, right above them, actually, right there in Sherman
right.
Oaks as well.
Yep.
Thank you for being part of our show, guys.
Thank you.
And we have another half of the show coming up with Carlos Villalobos, always giving you great advice after 30-some plus years of insurance experience with what you need to know about insurance to protect you and your family. We'll be right back.